everyone, and welcome to my channel. I am Stephanie. This is day 29 of VEDA, Video Every Day in April. I'm going to go over one of the over 2,000 books that I have read. We're going to do 4 question starters, and then I'm going to give you guys 2 recommendations for age gap romances. Okay, if this is your first time here on for VEDA, Video Every Day in April, it is something that I have been doing for quite some time. I decided to change up the format this year and do something fun and semi-interactive with you guys by revisiting one of the over 2,000 books that I have read in the last 10 years. And I was only able to put in the titles of the names of those books. So I had to, that kind of brings in the fun part of it, where I get to see if I can remember who the books were written by, as well as what the books sort of were about. And then we're going to check over on my Goodreads to see if I was right or if I was wrong. I have a box of conversation starters. I'm going to do 2 questions there. And then I'm going to give you guys 2 recommendations for age gap romances, which I absolutely love. So let's just jump into what this book is supposed to be and see if I can remember it. It is called Paridise Taken number 1. I think this is written by C.M. Hutton. I'm not exactly sure. It sounds like something that I would have read back in the beginning of my reading career, because the cover is sort of coming to me as a black and white cover. And if I am not mistaken, it was before I started to dislike like the cheating aspect in books and things like that. I think this book does a really good job of sort of showing the real consequences, I guess, of the book. I believe this is also a semi-factual book, or things from real life were used in this book. I think. Let's jump over to my Goodreads and see if I was right or if I was wrong. Oh my gosh, you guys. I cannot believe that I actually got this one pretty right. All except for this cover. I think this may be a cover change, even though the original cover is not down in the alternate sort of section, which is like down here. That's a different cover as well. But yeah, it's written by C.M. Hutton. It's based on true events. And I gave it 4 stars. I do know that this was way prior to me doing like Steam fans and things like that. So I can't exactly remember what the Steam level is for this. I read this in 2015, and this is what I originally had to say. Not an easy subject matter to read in a story, but I knew some of the backstory from reading a future book about one of the characters mentioned in this book. I went in knowing that I probably wouldn't like one of the male characters, but never expected to dislike all of the characters but one, the one I've already read the book about. I can't fault the book because of subject matter, because it was written beautifully. The ending really floored me, and I can't wait to see what happens. So yeah, wow. Yeah, okay. That is what it is. So here is the sort of synopsis of the story. Like I said, based on true events. 4 lives intertwined by friendship and business, whose true story was more devastating than fiction. Rob and Kate were thrilled to be moving to the island of St. John with dear friends Jake and Claire. The men were going into business together and relocating their families to the beautiful tropical Paradise. It was a dream come true for the longtime friends. But when feelings are revealed and temptation takes control, one friendship turns from lust to love, and no one can walk away unscathed. And one person's ultimate decision leaves everyone lost and devastated. Oh, yes. Yes, it brings back so many feelings and so many thoughts. So would I reread that book? I don't know. I do know as I was reading it, I was sort of in contact with the author, and we've had discussions about the books and things like that. So yeah, yeah, it is a very personal account of true things that may have happened in uh around the author. And woo, I think there were still some other like ramifications that ended up happening as well. So yeah, I don't know. I think I just want to keep that feeling that I had back then for this story, especially since I have read quite a few other books that kind of deal with that hard subject. So yeah, there's that. So our questions for today. Question number 1 is, what activity could you happily do for hours and hours? And that is super simple, and it's books. I could read books. I could listen, well, more these days, listen to books all day long, or watch bingeable content, but then I would get kind of burned out. But yeah, books and TV shows, I definitely could do that for hours and hours and hours. Question number 2 is, how did your parents decide what to name you? If I am not mistaken, I know for sure that my dad wanted me to have a name that would look good on stationery, would be easily pronounced, would be racially ambiguous, things like that. And he definitely instilled that in me when we named my child. And then I believe my mom said that she agreed with the name because it was like a friend or a play off of a friend's name, things like that. So yeah, there is the story of how I was named. And that's 2 questions. So let's jump into some age gap romances. These are not your typical ones, not ones that I've mentioned one of them before, but the other one I don't think I've ever really mentioned as an age gap. So the first one is Copper Lining by Christy Pastore, and I absolutely love this one. It is what we now call reverse age gap, where the woman is the older of the two, and this woman goes on vacation without her child and has a great time on a vacation, has a vacation fling, and then she goes on about her business, but she's still thinking about him, he's still thinking about her, and then their worlds collide later on within the story. I love that the third act sort of break up, sort of dark moment for the story is mostly about figuring out how to do things together, not necessarily that there is a miscommunication trope, or that it's a, well, how can you don't really love me type thing. It wasn't something that was like super unrealistic. It was something that was very realistic, and it wasn't all that bad. So it wasn't really a black moment. It was more like a gray moment of what is the best thing to do, sort of thing. And try not to give too much away, but I really love this story and this whole entire series. This is the third book in the series. You don't need to read the other ones to understand what is going on in the series, but it is fun to have that context of the 2 books before it to understand the whole family dynamic that is involved in this series. Then the next book that I'm going to tell you guys go check out is Legacy by Rachel Robinson. And this was written as part of the Corinne Michaels Salvation series, or saga, not series, saga, world. There we go. Because it's Salvation Society. So Rachel pitched her book to Corinne. Corinne said yes. They wrote a book, Rachel wrote a book about one of the daughters that is in Corinne's stories for the Salvation series, and grew her up and made her a Navy SEAL. And it involves other seals that have been seals for a while, and you get to see her go through training, but have a connection with one of the trainers. And I love their story. It was good and it was fun, and there's some action that's placed in this and everything like that. But there is an age gap between them, and I was here for it. I was so here for it. I love the story. So go read it. Go check it out. Alrighty, so I have revisited one of the over 2,000 books that I have read in the last 10 years. Gosh, wow. And how did you get your name? How did your parents figure out to name you whatever you're named? As well as what could you do for hours and hours? Let's talk about it down in the comment section if you like. And I gave you guys some age gap romances. There are so many other age gap romances out there, but those are two that I really think that I really enjoyed and think more people need to enjoy as well. Let me know some of your favorites down in the comment section. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Also, there is a feedback form down in the description box so you guys can help me improve my channel. My PayPal, my Patreon, and all my other social links are down in the description box for you guys to follow me everywhere. Thank you for watching, and we will see you in tomorrow's video. If you